Today I want to show you something. In fact, I want to show you two things. The first one is this. It's a really, really big potato farm, and I'm going to call it the Iron Tater. Now, the iron farm part of it is just the top part of Stormbreaker. It's not anything new, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. But the interesting thing is the potato farm. This thing makes 2.5 double chests of potatoes an hour, approximately. Each hour is a little different. Now it uses 20 beds so that I can spawn golems. It uses 16 farmers. It uses 4 villagers to throw crops to. The hoppers here go all the way around the wall so that villagers can throw from any angle, any direction. They end up in a chest down below. The bees, I wouldn't say are necessary. I didn't notice a difference between having them and not having them, so I probably wouldn't add them. It's 48 by 48, so it's 3 chunks by 3 chunks. Now, your next question may be, what about chunk borders? Aren't you afraid of the villagers getting deleted by chunk borders? And no, I'm not. If 2, 3, 4, if there are at least 2 farmers still alive, they'll just breed more and the farm will continue on. Cats can spawn, and if they do, they drop down, but they don't break the farmland, so that's not an issue. This is a free range crop farm. And initially I had these beds laid out in a pattern similar to what I did in my 16 village iron farm. You can check out the video to that. And then I saw Rufus Atticus's video about pathfinding. And so I changed it to be this. And I want to show you what I did differently than what he did. Now you should definitely go watch his video. I will link his channel and the video, specifically the one I'm talking about. Where are my beds? Okay, they're here. Is that he put magma blocks under here. And I thought, well, if they don't pathfind on the magma blocks because it can harm them, then they wouldn't pathfind over a 3+ block drop either. So I removed all the blocks underneath the beds so that they wouldn't try to pathfind across the beds. And for the most part, it works pretty well. All the villagers will get in here. I always have this one problem with this one villager, and I don't know if something's wrong with him or if it's something else, but it's always one villager and it's always the same one. Well, tonight we're going to have a few, it looks like. Okay. Nope, just the one. Okay. I always have trouble with this one villager right here, and I'm not sure why. Now, there should be 4 beds that are unoccupied. But you see there's 5 because this guy right here is supposed to be pathfinding across. Just get in your bed, bro. But they all get up and they work, and they have all the things that they would have in a typical village. Their workstations are here. They all pathfind to their workstations. They harvest potatoes. They try to throw to those villagers. And I know, too many hoppers, they're all unlocked. I understand all the complaints. This is just a prototype. I understand all the hoppers. I understand all the situations that people are going to complain about about this video. I understand. Like I said, I wouldn't do the bees. I wouldn't have so many hoppers. This is just a prototype. More of a proof of concept. How many potatoes could I make in an hour? What would be reasonable? What would be unreasonable? I added an iron farm to it. Let me show you version 2. And this is what I came up with for version 2. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is that it's approximately the same footprint. The second thing you're going to notice is that the iron farm portion is much, much larger. Well, there's a good reason for that. And that's because the beds are spread out. Each villager has a 3x3 cabin. And so therefore, by spreading the beds out, I had to make the iron farm portion bigger to make sure that every bed, if it became the center of the village, wouldn't spawn golems on the ground, breaking the iron farm. So every villager has its own cabin. If you wanted to put a painting, if you wanted to put a table with a flower pot, you could decorate each one of these cabins to be as nice as you wanted. It's still the same 48 by 48, but rather than having 8 full chunks, it only has 6 chunks. So it makes slightly less than 2 double chests of potatoes per hour. It still produces the same amount of iron. Like I said, the iron farm portion is a little larger than last time. I've moved the villagers that are thrown potatoes to the end here. There are only 2 hoppers in regards to the iron farm, 1 at each end. The number of hoppers for the villagers to be thrown to is reduced. And I think it kind of gives a much more natural village feel to it. Let me show you what happens when it gets to be nighttime here. The villagers just go to their cabins. They may go in the wrong cabin door, but you see that in other villages too. They'll go in a house and then out of a house and then in a different house. But they'll pretty much quickly go to their beds. You can see each villager has a bed and a window and a door, and they're all asleep in their beds. They pathfind pretty quickly. And then when it comes to day, they all go back to work just like they would in a regular village. Now, these villagers, their beds are hidden underneath this block right there. And cats are free to roam around the village. They all go to their workstations. And once again, if a villager became disconnected or got killed or got deleted by the chunk border issue, they would just breed another villager and carry on. So really, it's a pretty robust farm, and it kind of gives you like a new perspective, like a new way to think about villages, about iron farms, about crop farms, about Minecraft in general, is that you don't have to squish animals and villagers into tiny little farms. You don't have to play Minecraft in a cruel way. I've recently been playing a vegan playthrough on a server I play on called Bob, and it's had me thinking about different ways to do things in Minecraft that don't involve animal and villager cruelty. Got all those poisonous potatoes. But yeah, so with a farm like this, you could feed your server. You could also just make a lot of emeralds. I could grow all these potatoes. And not him, but I could find a villager that has potatoes. Not him either. Okay. Well, a lot of these villagers will have potato traits, and I could name tag them. He sells carrots. Okay. I could name tag beside their work. I could put a sign here by their workstation. I could trade with them during their work time. I could trade with them at night. I could put a sign on above their cabin because they're going to go to the same cabin every night. I could put a sign there saying, this is the one that trades for potatoes. This can make a lot of emeralds. This could make a lot of bone meal. This could make a lot of XP by running it through a furnace. You could do a lot of things with this many potatoes per hour. And like I said, it's nice having the iron, but that's secondary. If people want me to do a block by block build tutorial for this, I could. However, I just mainly wanted to show it off as a way to get people to think about different ways to play Minecraft. Thank you for watching. Take care of each other,